like it in here.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Where did he go?
Wild. Put your soul into it. Wild. What's going on around here?
As we're moving in, my mom actually found several altars, like kind of ritualistic pentagrams and pentacles and just some weird things, and like even like remnants of like burnt out candles, stuff that she thought was like bones, like animal bones, and just some weird stuff. And so my mom was very religious back then. We grew up Catholic, and so, she was like, okay, I need to get rid of this stuff and da-da-da-da. And I think she meant well by trying to like get the stuff, because it was like there was one like in the attic, there was one in the basement, there was one like in the barn on the property, and so she tried to kind of clear that stuff out and say some prayers and stuff. And I think she meant well, but I think she kind of riled things up.
Yes, and welcome everyone to Haunting Live podcast this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are back live this week after a little bit of a break, but so great to have be back online here live today with you guys watching us here on Haunting Live podcast. And we do have a special guest lined up who we'll be bringing on in just a moment, Denise Marie, psychic medium. She's going to be talking to us today about what she does as a medium and what she's experienced through her journey through mediumship. And we'll talk to her in just a minute. But first of all, I want to thank you guys very much for the recent subscribers to our YouTube channel. We noticed we've had a lot of people joining up lately, so thank you so much for doing that. We greatly appreciate all your support. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, do check us out on our YouTube channel. We broadcast new shows each and every week with a live guest to interview in the paranormal field. So if you like that, and if you like our content, don't forget to like our videos and check out our subscribe as well if you do watch our videos. And of course, if you miss us in the live show, you can always watch us later on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network on their YouTube and their Facebook on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock, and also catch us on the podcast apps if you just want to listen to our show when you have time. So we appreciate that as well. But just before we do bring our guest on, I do want to promote a video that we just posted to our channel recently. About 2 weeks ago, we had a chance to interview a pretty big YouTuber, The Haunted Side. You heard a little clip of him there just in the intro of the video on today's show. And he is a well-known YouTuber. He does paranormal investigations, Patrick McQuarrie. We got to interview him about what he does and some of the experiences that he had as a child and what drew him into the paranormal field. So really amazing interview, really worth listening to. I recommend you guys go and check that out. It's on our YouTube channel right now. Just look up The Haunted Side interview, and you can check him out there and what we talked to him about on Haunting Live podcast. But let's get to our guest today and talk to Denise Marie about what she does. So let's welcome her on the show. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Trevor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us here on Haunting Live. I appreciate it very much, and telling us a little bit about what you do. So let's start with that. How did you get into being a medium?
Okay, so I was basically born a medium. I think that all mediums are pretty much born a medium. I didn't realize it or start seeing spirits until around the age of 4, but that's as far back as I can remember. And the people that I would see, nobody else could see. And then my mom and my dad started thinking I had imaginary friends. So it was around the age of 4 that I started seeing.
Yeah, that's usually the way it starts. People will kind of have these things they see or sense, and they don't know what's happening at that age, and they assume they're imaginary friends, as usual, right?
Right, and they were always friendly, so I wasn't too scared, but, still, it was, like, jarring.
Yeah, so how did your family deal with that with you? Was it accepted, or did it was it something that you had to work on with your family, or?
I think they just kind of brushed it off, like I said, or maybe thought that I was imagining things or, whatever. But when I was about 10 years old and we went to go see my grandmother's second husband, so he wasn't my natural grandfather. I still called him Grandpa Gene. We went to go see him in the hospital, and my mom was talking to my uncle. And I was on the other side of the room by the empty bed and sitting in a chair, and there was an empty chair next to me. And I was staring at the woman sitting in the empty chair next to me. My mother kept looking over at me and she says, Denise, she goes, what do you see? What are you looking at? And I described the woman sitting in the chair, and my uncle turned white as a ghost. And he goes, that's Jean's mother. She died 20 years ago. So that's how they knew that I didn't have imaginary friends.
Yeah, that's interesting that he was able to recognize that as well. Did you have a good description of her at that time? Were you seeing her full body?
I described her head to toe, what she was wearing, what her hair looked like. Her hair was, I could still remember her to this day. It was all slicked back in a bun. It was all gray. She had like a round face and, a chubby little body, and she had a flowered house dress on. And yeah.
Cool. At least it was like a person that your grandfather recognized you describing. It wasn't like a complete stranger that he didn't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Do you find that's more common? Do you find that you've talked to like people that you know more, like relative wise, or do you find that you have random spirits that you communicate with?
I have random. Well, I have a lot of random spirits for my clients. I don't know, but a spirit will come forward for the person that's around me that they know. And then because they just won't show up randomly and I'm like, that's why I don't read people's like guides and stuff, like your spirit guide, because I could basically say anything I want. You would never know because you don't know what your spirit guide looks like. So I don't like to do that. I only bring spirits through that are evidential. So, I could bring through a spirit and I physically see them with my eyes so I can describe what they look like.
What type of clients do you mostly have? Is it mostly spirit communication, or what type of work do you mostly do for your clients?
It's a mix of both. I do mediumship and also psychic, tarot cards and stuff like that. But I always say I'm predominantly a medium, because even when I'm reading people's cards, even though that's like a psychic reading, I do hear spirit in my right ear as I'm reading, and they'll change my verbiage around entirely. When I go to speak, they'll say something that I would never say. So it's really coming through, like through me from them. So I always say I'm predominantly a medium because all the information I get is from the other side. So it's more mediumship, but the psychic stuff has always been on point. And I always say, listen, I appreciate the compliment, but that wasn't me. It's like not from me,
That's the way I tend to find they work as well. Like they try to guide you to what they want to say. So they're coming through you basically. So.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And so let's step back a moment and see how you began your journey. So how did you actually decide you wanted to pursue this as a career? Was there some experience that you had that made you decide, okay, this is the direction I want to take?
I've been a professional makeup artist 28 years, and like I do commercials, infomercials, weddings and stuff like that. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I really loved what I did, but I always knew in my heart that I was supposed to just be a medium. Like my mother would say, so what are you going to do? You're just going to keep doing, makeup and work for Smashbox Cosmetics and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mom, like I'm supposed to be a medium. Like I'm supposed to do this work. And one day I was homesick from work and I just said, you know what? It was back in 2012. And I was like, you know what? And I just started a website. I started a Facebook page. And I just started from there. And I remember like 10 years ago, I was charging $25 for a reading. And it was a blend of everything. It was like, all right, just come for a reading and we'll see what I get. And I would, use tarot. I would bring through spirit, whatever it was. And I've evolved so much since then. 10 years later, it's pretty good. So now I just do this. Yeah. I don't work for Smashbox anymore.
Was it a hard decision for you to switch over, or was it sort of like you had guides guiding you along the way that they're pushing you?
You always have guides. Absolutely. That's a great question. But honestly, I was doing both for a long time. I was working for Smashbox during the day and doing readings at night and on the weekends. And COVID kind of forced me into just doing mediumship because we couldn't go to visit the stores to rep for the brand. And, you know, we couldn't do that. So I started only doing mediumship, and then I started doing Zoom, group readings and family readings. And now I'm global because of COVID. Now I'm like global. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think COVID was kind of a blessing for a lot of people, even us here at Haunting Live. Like, we have grown a lot since COVID started, and it's been thanks to that, meeting people like yourself and expanding our network as well. So, have you
Yeah,
found that the same way?
yes. I mean, COVID was hard because I did lose a lot of people. My best friend, which by the way, Trevor, you look exactly like him. So when I saw your face, I was like, whoa, that's creepy. But my best friend died from COVID, and we had a lot of losses. But yeah, you always look for the rainbow, and there was a blessing in that, and it was that I was able to go more global with my mediumship and do a lot of things. I paint angels too, so I painted and sold 7 angels in 2020 and shipped them all over Texas, California, everywhere. So that was good. So listen, I'm an introvert a little bit. I'm kind of a homebody. So I didn't mind being home, and DoorDash is amazing. So, so I had all my, okay, DoorDash this, whatever. But there was a blessing in that. Yes, I agree.
No, I'm exactly the same way. I'm a huge introvert, and being a radio host is kind of cool. I just get to sit at home and do my show and do what I want to do. So,
Yep.
I didn't mind the COVID at all. Like, stay at home, sure, I'll stay at home.
Yeah. Right. Okay. No problem. Right. And I got a little hooked on Amazon, but other than that,
Yeah, we all did that too, as well as DoorDash and Skip the Dishes, which we have here in Canada. So, but did you have any experiences while you're doing your development journey? Like, I know you were kind of pushed into this by changing careers, kind of, but as you started that, sort of, did you have any one experience that kind of jumped you into it? Did something happen to you that you're like, oh, this is cool. This is sort of what I want to do?
I mean, it's been with me my entire life. Although I did push it away when I was in my 20s because I was going to school and I was traveling and I was with my friends and I was having a great time. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want this gift. And, but then I'm telling you what, that one day when I was back in 2012 and I was homesick from work and I was like, you know what? I just have to do it. I just have to take the leap. So I've been in business 10 years. I mean, COVID is what pushed me to go, do more globally, like, Alaska, Australia readings. And so all over the place. And it was helped me, start to write my book and everything. But I've had so many experiences. I don't even know where to begin, but they've been around me my whole life. And to physically see them and, literally bump into them when you're in the middle of the night walking to the bathroom, like bumping into spirit, like, whoa, like you don't, they still shake my bed. They're trying to get my attention and they're not scary. Like, I've never had an encounter, thank God, knock on wood. I've never had an encounter with a negative energy or a bad spirit. It's always been pleasant for me.
No, that's good. You don't want to have the negative attached to you or drawn to you in any way. You want to
No,
always have
no.
projecting positivity when you do this kind of
Yeah,
work. So,
I keep myself grounded. I keep myself cleansed and negative energy free. And I've been lucky so far. So
that's great. So, how many spirits do you have around you usually then, if you're bumping into them at night in your home? How many would you say are kind of constantly with you?
it depends on the day, honestly. I mean, it doesn't happen every night. And I know how to turn it off and I know how to turn it on. So, matter of fact, funny story. I was doing wedding makeup and I was doing makeup for a bride. I'm doing her face and her dead grandmother steps forward to my right behind her. And I had to keep my mouth shut because I'm trying not to make the bride tear up because I'm trying to put mascara on her. So I'm like, I'm not saying a word. So when the bride was done, I spoke to the mother of the bride and I says, listen, I just want to let you know that this woman stepped forward and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh my God, that's my mother. That's her grandmother. And I'm like, she just wants you to know that she's here being present for this whole occasion. So, I mean, spirit, even when I try to shut it off, they will kind of push their way in. But for the most part, I know how to live a normal life and just go about. I can go to the food store without saying, excuse me, I have a father figure stepping forward. I don't do that.
You don't interrupt the guy buying his vegetables next to you saying, there's somebody standing next to you, by the way.
No, definitely not. I think it's a little unethical to just push that on people. And I feel like when people are ready, they'll find me. And most people that find me, whether it's through Google or my website or whatever, Facebook, they're drawn to me. They're like, I was just drawn to you. I looked at a couple of mediums in your area and I was just felt drawn to you. And I feel like that's the person that's supposed to be with me. I just allow spirit to kind of guide the way and just do their thing. And I just live my life.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think, for our side as well. We do paranormal investigations here at Haunting Live, so it's like we do the same thing. We don't try to intrude that into other people's lives or shove it in their face, so to speak. It's if it comes to us, it comes to us. So
I agree. That's perfect. That's great work ethic.
yeah, definitely. So what are your services that you provide then for your clients? Is it just mediumship, or do you do anything like tarot cards or anything like that?
So if you go to my website, I offer a 30-minute reading or a 50-minute reading. So the 30-minute reading, you get to choose upon our phone call or upon your visit to my home office. You get to choose between mediumship or psychic. So I let the client choose. And sometimes they're like, well, what's the difference? Well, mediumship is just me bringing through your loved ones in spirit, and your loved ones are bringing me the evidence, what they look like, how they passed, all this evidence. And they're coming in to let you know I'm still around you. They show me things that my client is doing in their lives. They'll show me what they just had for breakfast. They'll show me things to prove I'm still with you. I see you doing this. I hear this conversation. I know you've been working on your closets recently at home, whatever it is. And and then the difference between that and a psychic reading, when spirit comes through, they don't tell you what's coming in the next 2 years of your life. They don't give you psychic predictions. A psychic tarot reading will tell you past, present, and the future 2 years of your life. So I'll be able to see this is what's coming. And then you get to ask questions. Will I get married in the next year or two? Will I get pregnant? And I will see that. And spirit kind of works through me as I'm doing this reading, but it's not like I'm seeing them and they're your loved ones. I don't even know who's speaking to me in my right when I'm doing the tarot reading. So you could choose between a psychic or a tarot for a 30-minute, and then the 50-minute is a blend of everything. So I do the mediumship first, then I do the tarot.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. A lot of people ask what the difference is between
Yes.
a mediumship and a psychic, which is a valid question because it does get confusing and lost in all the work that people do. So,
People
but yeah,
wanted medium readings that were like, well, can they tell me what I should do about my boyfriend? And that's not how it works. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the main thing is mediumship is communication with spirit. So you're trying to communicate with the other side directly. That's mediumship. But past, present, future is more psychic work. Yep. That's the easiest way to describe it. So how have things been going, though, otherwise for you throughout your career? Have you had any major incidences that you want to talk about, or that have happened to you since you really more started developing things? Like once you start it, you get into it for a reason, like you've been talking about. But after you get into it for a while, you might find other things start happening more frequently and stuff like that. So what else have you been doing? Yeah.
Spirit's always changing things up for me. About maybe, let me see, 2014. So I opened Halo readings in 2012, and 2014, I was going through something very sensitive. It was a bad breakup. I was very depressed for about 8 solid months. And I had a 8-year-old kid to take care of. My son, I only have one son. And I was going through this breakup and I was very sad and depressed. And my mother and sister were over my house constantly helping me with my son. And so I would say the 8th month that I was depressed and I was literally a zombie. And I had a visit from Archangel Raphael. It was very quick and it was very simple. And he came to me and all he said to me was, just take care of your son. Everything will be okay. That's all he said. And when he left, I was like, oh my God. And I felt like the weight of the world had been literally lifted off of my shoulders. And what's funny is I can't draw or paint. I'm not artistic in that way. The only artistic ability I have is to do somebody's face, and I could do makeup, and I could never draw or paint. And ever since that visit from Archangel Raphael, I started painting angels. And that's part of, so when I'm drawn to paint, like I literally get this like itch in me, like I got to paint. And I just start painting these angels and I don't even know what they're going to look like until they're done. And I get into this like meditative state while I'm painting. I have one here if you want me to show it to you.
Yeah, for sure. Show our viewers that are watching live right now what that looks like that you've done.
So
Okay.
Her name is Faith and her wings are textured with plaster. And the saying is, it's a song from Pentatonics, Hallelujah. And the lyrics are, and from your lips, she drew the hallelujah. And she has a book in her hand with her name on the book and it's Faith. So every painting that I've done, I've named them things like hope, faith. I have an angel that I cut out sheet music and made her wings with sheet music, and I named her Harmony. And so I have all these and I have so many of them. And this is the only original I have left right now. And I don't start a new painting unless it's commissioned. I don't usually start a new painting until one of them is gone. And then I start a new one. And it's like, I'm drawn to it. I'm just drawn to do it. And it's crazy because I look at them and I'm like, how the hell did I do that? So I know that was something bestowed upon me from Archangel Raphael. It was the most craziest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Very interesting that you have a painting connection, but you also have a artistic connection doing people's faces as well. So there is kind of a link there, I think.
I know, but it's like, I can't draw. Like if you asked me to draw something on a piece of paper, you'd laugh at me. Like it's bad. And all I can do are that's all I can do. So it's weird. It's not even like they gave me this artistic ability. It's just angels. It's literally just angels.
Have you had any personal messages besides what Raphael gave you? Was there something, does he constantly give you messages or is it just that one time?
It was just that one time where I physically saw him. And that was and I expected it to be such I didn't expect it. It's not that I'm putting it down or anything. And I'm ever so grateful, but I was just just take care of your son and everything will be okay. And you would think, wow, that's so simple. But you know what? I was focused on so many other things that all I really had to do was be a mom. And everything else was going to work itself out. And that's exactly as it happened. So I was like, you know what? I don't have to worry about this anymore. I could just be this kid's mother and take care of him and focus on him and focus on being a mom, because I was so lost in that depression for 8 months from that breakup that it catapulted me. And, now my son's 17 and it's good. It was good. It was a good thing.
And how does he accept all this now that he's grown up? Does he have any influence on you or?
He thinks it's the coolest thing in the world. He tells all his friends, my mom's a medium, he has an ability as well. I learned about that when he was 5, but he doesn't want to develop it. I mean, I developed it with, world-renowned mediums from England and, I developed my gift, but he doesn't want to, although I can help him. He's like, nah, I just want to be a kid,
Yeah, definitely let him just be a kid for now, and maybe when he's ready in the future, he'll learn to have his own journey as well, right? So there's timing for a reason. So maybe you can help him later on. So
yes.
So let's jump to that topic a little bit about your development. You were just saying that you had some training from higher ups over in England.
Yes.
How did that start?
I just started seeking out, teachers, mentors. Pat Longo was a really huge mentor of mine. Um, I just started seeking out, like, how can I, sharpen this tool that I have? You know what I mean? Like, you're born with a gift, but it's like now you have to learn how to use it. Because I didn't know that I could do readings for people because it would just happen randomly. So how would I sit down with, say, you and bring through your loved ones? Like, what am I just going to sit there and wait and twiddle my thumbs? I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't even know I could turn it off if I wanted to. I was like, well, it just happens randomly. So I studied with, really great teachers, and they showed me, it's your gift. You can turn it on and turn it off whenever you want. You are in control, so yeah, thank God. Cause I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, you need to learn that off switch for sure, especially if have your private moments at home. You don't want to be surrounded by spirit all the time. So
No, and I mean, my son is 17. Now I have two stepkids, 5 and 10. And it's I need to be able to be a mom and, clean my house and go to the supermarket like a normal person. So it's good that you can turn it off and turn it on. Yes.
was it hard for you to develop that off switch, or was it something that came fairly easily? Or
It was literally the easiest thing in the world. It was the easiest thing in the world. And I remember my first teacher telling me, if somebody walked in the bathroom while you were using the bathroom, what would you do? And I said, I'd tell them to leave. She goes, so why wouldn't you do that with spirit? I'm like, oh my God, it's that easy. I'm like, so you just treat spirit like they are human, like they're just people, because they were once. They're just more intelligent now.
yeah, so true. That's the way I believe it as well. You're supposed to treat spirit as if they were still alive and just tell them what you want to tell them. So if they're bothering you, say, don't bother me now. Or if
Not
you
right now.
actually, one thing we do when we do investigations is if somebody is having trouble with a spirit at their home, it sounds kind of silly to them at the time, but we tell them, treat it like a child. You have to kind of lay down the rules of your home. So
100%.
don't bother me when I'm asleep, but you talk to me when I'm awake after in the morning or
Right.
something. But don't bother
Yes.
me during these times,
Yes.
Lay down the rules.
Like if I have a reading the next day scheduled, because I work from Wednesday through Saturday. So if I have a reading, say it's Tuesday night and I have a reading on Wednesday, I will have those loved ones coming early. So those are the people I bump into when I'm on my way to the bathroom at 3:00 in the morning. And I'm like, not now. You have to wait until they're here. You know what I mean? Like, just not now. I need sleep, not now, and they listen.
Do you find that they listen all the time, or can they be kind of pushy and bossy and not listen to you?
Sometimes they like to take control, especially during like a group reading. I had several group readings this month, and I try to be the MC and be like, okay, spirits, one at a time. But I'm seeing like, 10 or 15 or 20 spirits all at once, and they all want to talk at one time. So I have to literally monitor them and say, no, you first, everybody else step back. And it takes a little bit of work and practice, but they listen. It's just that they're anxious, they're excited, they're happy, they want your love. They want their loved ones to know that they're okay, so they're extremely happy. Their vibration is way up,
Yeah, sometimes they just have something so urgent or important that they want to tell somebody that they can't wait. So
Yep.
what has been sort of one message that has come through that kind of shocked you doing mediumship work? Has there been something that you're like, no, I can't tell that person that?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So this was in the earlier part of my journey of when I opened up my business and I started doing readings and, being paid to do readings. And I had a gentleman come to me. I was only about 2 years in. And at that time, I wasn't really being myself. I was being very conservative. So I wasn't dropping F-bombs. Listen, I just have to be me, and I'm not being offensive, but sometimes I'll slip out a curse or whatever. I'm just being me. I'm Italian. I can't even help it sometimes. But for the most part, I was being very conservative, very soft-spoken. The guy's mother stepped forward. I was giving him all her information. He had a couple of other spirits too, but his mother was the main one that he wanted to hear from. She stepped forward. He was wonderful. He was so open and accepted everything that I was giving him, because I don't ask anything before the reading. I don't even need to know your proper name. I had a guy come to me as John Wick. And but anyway, so this guy, I was giving him, his mother showed me what she looked like, and she was giving me evidence of her life and how she passed and all these things. And he's just acknowledging, yes, 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 yes. I'm not sure. Whatever you're not sure of, just write down. You'll remember it later. And just before the spirit was about to be done and I was about to wrap up the reading, she gave me the finger. And I was like, my face dropped, and I'm like, oh shoot. I'm like, what do I do? Like, why did she do that? Because that never happened to me before. And I'm going, why did she do that? Do I tell him? Do I say this to him? And I said, I can't withhold information. So I said, listen, sir, I don't know how to tell you this. And it's a little strange because this never happened to me. I says, but your mom gave me the finger. He was laughing so hard to the point of tears. And he's like, my mother did that to me always. He goes, even on her deathbed, she gave me the finger. He's like, she always did that. That was our thing. So if I didn't say that and I withheld that information, that was a really important, like, she literally, before she left, she gave him the finger. And it was like, oh my God, my mother always did that. They're going to do things that they did in life. Just because they're a spirit doesn't mean that they can't be fun or funny, So that was one that really sticks out. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, we investigate a location close to here where we live, and we do the same kind of thing. We kind of have fun with the spirits, and sometimes we find that we get more activity, more action out of them if we be funny or try to do humor with them than try to just ask them questions or ask them to do things. It's more of a connection, I think, to spirit if you try to deal with them in a certain way. So, like, we found that if we were telling jokes or started laughing with them or trying to say funny things with them, they did the same thing back on like the spirit box and stuff, right? So
yeah, because they are fun. They're very funny. They're humorous. They have a sense of humor. I think they're great. I like them more than humans sometimes.
Yes, more than often we prefer spirits than the real person. So let's just end today by talking about anything that you want to promote, anything that you've been working on. I know you showed us some of your paintings and how you got into that end of things. But is there anything else? How do people get a hold of you? Through your website or?
Yeah, you can get me on www.haloreadings.com. All one word, haloreadings.com. I'm also on Facebook under Halo Readings. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, which I'm still learning, is all under Psychic Medium Denise Marie. So you either get me a Halo Readings or Psychic Medium Denise Marie on social. Yep.
And I think as we were talking earlier, you mentioned that you have a book that you're starting as well. Do you want to talk about that for a bit?
Yes, I am in the process of this book, and it is called Charades with Ghosts. And I'm really looking forward to that being published, and hopefully it's all ready and out by 2023. But it's taking me a little longer because I've been really busy. I mean, thank God I've been very busy. I do about 10 private readings a week, and I do at least 3 groups a month, and I do restaurants and stuff. So yoga studios, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pretty busy there with your life.
And I'm a mom, and then I'm a mom. Yeah, full-time mom and full-time medium.
Yeah, but they mix pretty well. So you had some guidance with spirit towards your son as well. So it sounds like things are working up for you there. So
yes, thank you. And that painting, Faith, she is for sale. And I do have an Etsy shop, and that's under Creations by Halo. And she's the only original painting I have for sale right now, although I do take commissions. So you can commission a painting if, I can't tell you what the face is going to look like, but you can choose eye color, hair color, dress color, and background. So I have no control over the other stuff. So.
Have you ever heard of a thing called psychic artwork? Is that something that you would consider doing? Do you think it's sort of what you're doing now, or?
I definitely know I'm painting and I'm being guided. My hand is being guided because I'm telling you, I can't draw. So my hand is being guided. So the way I physically see spirit, I see them like a photo negative. So they show their face and they look black and white. I mainly see head and shoulders of them. And I'm able to see their face, their hair. When their hair comes in all shaded white, it's either white, gray, or blonde. And any other darker shade, beyond that comes in just as darker shaded. So when I have a blank canvas and it's, primed, right? It's primed white, and I focus on the canvas and they show me the angel that they want me to paint. I trace it out and I just start painting. And it's like I get into this like meditative state. And it's so calming and I love to do it. But like I said, I don't do them unless I'm commissioned, or if I'm drawn to it, I won't do it unless the one is sold. So it's like because I'll have paintings all over my office. I'll have that big, that big of an office. So
Yeah, definitely. So it's good to finish one you feel is complete and you've accomplished what they wanted you to, then you move on. So that's good.
yes.
Well, thank you so much, Denise Marie. I really appreciate you talking to us today about your journey and how you developed mediumship and some of the experience you wanted to share with us. They were amazing. So, especially your artwork that you do through your angels.
Thank
so,
you.
thank you for sharing. It's been wonderful having you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Trevor. My pleasure.
Great. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks again.
You too.
Bye-bye. And that was Denise Marie joining us from the U.S. today. So thank you so much for Denise joining us here on Haunting Live podcast, talking about her journey through mediumship and what she does as a medium. Some experiences she shared with us were pretty cool today. And also her artwork that she does through her guides and angels that guide her along. So if you're interested, go check out her website and check out her work. And if you're interested in reading, also check her out for that too. But thank you guys so much for joining us here today on Haunting Live. We are back live today after last week not being here, so it's great to be back with you guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. And of course, we've had a lot of subscribers lately to our YouTube channel, so really wonderful to have all you guys subscribing lately. If you like our content here on Haunting Live, don't forget to hit that like button. We do new videos each and every week on Sundays live at 4 o'clock here. And we have a new guest in the paranormal world each and every week for you to interview and find out what they're all about. So that was for this week. Next week we'll be back with a brand new guest. We do have another feature here on Haunting Live podcast that we're going to show you guys right now, and that is a goal feature for our YouTube channel. So right there, as you see at the bottom of the screen, is a YouTube subscriber goal. We want to focus more on getting more subscribers to our YouTube channel. This is one way that we can do that with you guys, is to show you exactly what the status is and where we're at with our subscribers. We are right now at 495 subscribers, so thanks again for everybody that signed up recently to our channel. We appreciate that very much, and we do have a goal to reach right now. Our goal is 500 subscribers, and we are almost there. We've got 5 more to go. If you guys could like to share our video, please do so. It would help us out a lot, and we hope to have this end goal, as you can see at the bottom here, 17 more days to go as of today, so which is the end of this month. End of March, we hope to reach our goal of 500 subscribers, and we will have a giveaway or something at the end when we do reach that goal. So help us out by doing so. Share and like our videos and subscribe to our channel, and tell your friends about Haunting Live podcast if they're interested in the paranormal field at all. Also, don't forget to check out our website, which is HauntingLivePodcast.com. We have everything on there as well. You can listen to our podcast episodes all the way back to the very beginning. You can also check out our YouTube videos there, watch them directly on our site, and also check out our podcast merch that we have. We have anything to do with the paranormal field. things like smudging materials, cleansing materials, crystals for protection, and that kind of things, and pendulums, handcrafted items with crystal jewelry as well. So check out Haunting Live Podcast merch if you need anything in the paranormal cleansing field. We have all that kind of stuff there for you guys to purchase from us. But with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We appreciate you being here and following us on Haunting Live. Don't forget to follow us also on all the podcast apps and all the social media platforms. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So we'll see you over there. But thanks you for watching this week, or listening if you're listening on the apps. And we'll be back right here next week, Sunday at 4 o'clock with our new guest in the paranormal. So thank you guys so much for checking us out, and we'll see you next week.
And began working with healing of the land, and because it felt like such a massive project, started teaching everyone who wanted to learn.
From childhood, I would see spirits, and I just felt like they were the extra people in my home. I had a hard time sharing that. I grew up in the Bible Belt in South Carolina, and it's just not cool, or it's frowned upon. It's demonic, or woo, scary.
I've always been a spooky kid. I love everything paranormal. I don't have a memory where I didn't believe in magic and the paranormal.
I use my intuitive abilities to help people identify their inner self. So have a deeper self-awareness. And through that, I'm able to help them see different perceptions and different belief systems that might be preventing them, exploring their journey.